Imagine a time before written laws, lawyers, and courts. This was the reality for early human societies. These groups, often nomadic hunter-gatherers, lived in a world without formal legal systems. Yet, they were not chaotic. They had their own ways of maintaining order and resolving disputes. Their survival depended on cooperation and a shared understanding of acceptable behavior. Social harmony relied on a combination of customs, traditions, and beliefs. These unwritten rules, passed down through generations, dictated daily life. They covered everything from food sharing to marriage customs. These norms were enforced through social pressure, not by any central authority. The absence of formal law did not mean anarchy. Instead, a different kind of order prevailed. This order was based on shared values and the understanding that survival depended on mutual respect and cooperation. Disputes, while inevitable, were often settled through mediation or by appealing to elders for guidance. In these early societies, custom was king. These unwritten rules, often deeply ingrained in the fabric of society, served as the primary regulators of behavior. Customs evolved organically, shaped by generations of shared experiences and a collective understanding of what was right and wrong. These customs covered a wide range of social interactions. They dictated how individuals should behave towards one another, how resources should be shared, and how disputes should be resolved. They provided a framework for social cohesion, ensuring that everyone understood their roles and responsibilities within the group. The power of custom lay in its collective enforcement. Violating a deeply held custom could lead to ostracism, a powerful deterrent in societies that relied heavily on communal cooperation. The fear of social disapproval and the potential for banishment served as strong incentives to conform to established norms. As societies grew larger and more complex, the informal system of customs began to show its limitations. Disputes, particularly those involving injury or loss, often escalated into cycles of revenge. The principle of an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, became a common, albeit often brutal, form of justice. This system of personal revenge, while offering a sense of immediate retribution, often led to escalating feuds between families or tribes. The initial act of wrongdoing could trigger a chain reaction of violence and retaliation, perpetuating a cycle of vengeance that was difficult to break. This cycle of violence highlighted a critical need for a more structured and impartial approach to conflict resolution. The desire for order and stability led to the gradual emergence of more formal systems of law and justice. Section 4. Blood money, replacing revenge with compensation. A significant development in the evolution of law was the shift from personal revenge to the concept of compensation. Rather than seeking retribution through violence, wronged parties began to accept material compensation for their losses. This practice, often referred to as blood money or weregild, marked a crucial step towards a more peaceful resolution of disputes. The amount of compensation was typically determined by the severity of the offense and the social status of the victim. This system, while still rooted in the idea of retribution, introduced the concept of restitution and provided a path for reconciliation without resorting to further violence. The acceptance of blood money not only helped to mitigate cycles of revenge, but also paved the way for a more standardized approach to justice. It established the idea that wrongs could be quantified and compensated for, laying the groundwork for more formal legal codes and systems of punishment. Section 5. The rise of courts, from informal gatherings to formal institutions. As societies continued to evolve, so too did their mechanisms for resolving disputes. What began as informal gatherings of elders or respected community members gradually transformed into more structured courts. These early courts, while lacking the formality of their modern counterparts, played a crucial role in adjudicating disputes and maintaining order. These early judicial proceedings varied widely in their structure and procedures. In some cases, disputes might be presented before a village elder or a council of respected individuals. In other instances, trials might involve public hearings or even ritualistic practices. Despite their informal nature, these early courts marked a significant step towards a more formal system of justice. They provided a dedicated space for the presentation of evidence, the hearing of witnesses, and the rendering of judgments based on established customs and principles. Section 6. Trials by ordeal, divine judgment in legal disputes. In the absence of sophisticated investigative techniques, early societies often turned to supernatural intervention to determine guilt or innocence. Trials by ordeal, which involved subjecting the accused to dangerous or painful tests, were a common feature of many legal systems. These ordeals were often designed to test the accused's faith or to appeal to divine judgment. For example, an accused person might be required to plunge their hand into boiling water or carry a red-hot iron. It was believed that the gods would protect the innocent from harm, while the guilty would suffer injury or death. While seemingly barbaric by modern standards, trials by ordeal reflected the prevailing beliefs of the time and the desire for a higher authority to intervene in matters of justice. These practices highlight the close relationship between law, religion, and superstition in early societies.